Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashta Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Welcome everyone to this transcendental program of discussing Bhagavad Dharma. Currently we are studying the Sikshastakam, the foundational essential teachings of supreme transcendence given by Bhagavan Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Especially the glories of the holy name and its indispensable importance to attain perfection of our human potential. With regard to the attitude of a sadhaka, in the second sloka of Sikshastakam, where the attitude on the part of the sadhaka, acknowledging and appreciating that everything is Krishna's, everything belongs to Krishna, and feeling one's utter unqualifiedness. Because in order to receive the mercy of the Lord, because mercy is always unqualified, meaning there is no qualification on our part that we can become qualified. The mercy which the Lord has come to bestow upon us, the love of Godhead, is not something, some achievement which one can achieve by one's own endeavor. The kind of love of God which Mahaprabhu has come to bestow, it is so priceless that unless a proper attitude is developed, it would be impossible. As soon as we assert that we have some qualification, our difficulties begin. That's what we discussed towards the end of our last sharing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, God himself, assuming the mood of a devotee or a sadhaka, he himself said, I don't find a trace of love for Krishna, love of Krishna within my heart. And that feeling, that is the like standard of humility, na? And that feeling must be very sincere. It must not be an imitation as a sense of information, or we know what it is like to sound humble, to appear humble, or rather than becoming humble. We must be careful. No? We must not venture to imitate the highest devotees. Of course, to idealize them is perfect, but they are filled with the most sublime realization of feeling utterly incapacitated, utterly dependent. To genuinely feel to conceive that we possess nothing and that everything is Krishna's. That is the only qualification. So there's a tremendous paradox involved here. How can, after performing so much austerity, so much, taking part in so much education and all these things, and becoming certified, qualified by all the authorities who give you the credence that you are qualified now. Now you can establish yourself. Now you can achieve many things of this world because you have become qualified. But this spiritual achievement, spiritual perfection, or that is the of our human potential, this is something of a different nature. No? In order to attain that perfection, how much we will have to let go of what we have acquired. Na prema gandhosti darapi meharav. Na prema shravanadi bhakti rapi mam yogothava vaishnavo jnanam va shubha karma va kiyadaho sajjatirapyasti vam. हीनार्थाधिक साधके त्वयि तथापि अच्छेद्य मूला सती हे गोपी जन वल्लभ व्यथयते आहा मदाशैव माम्. Even disowning and disclaiming even the wonderful qualities for a sadhaka, all these wonderful achievements, wonderful credence which the great pure devotees have been bestowed upon by all the stalwarts and others. How great, how much love, how much sadhana, austerity and vows and all these things which puts one recognition of very elevated status. They want to disown it, and they have, because they want to prove that they are very fallen, very utterly unqualified, so that they don't become bereft of Krishna's merciful glance of ultimate mercy. They want to be accepted by Krishna in his realm. And knowing that Krishna bestows adhika or extra mercy upon those who consider themselves utterly unqualified and fallen. Hina arthadhika sadhaka. Hina means very fallen, very bereft of any qualifications. So then, if one becomes bereft of any qualification, any shelter, whatever, then one still needs a shelter. So one who accepts or craves for Krishna is the only shelter. Then that exclusively crying out for Krishna shelter, it impresses Krishna. Hinarthadhika sadhake tvai tathapi achidya mula saki. So pure devotees and the real devotees, they know what will impress Krishna the most, or impress Krishna for him to bestow his ultimate mercy. So to genuinely feel, to conceive that we possess nothing and that everything is his, That is the only qualification for chanting the holy name of Krishna. So second sloka of Sikshastakam was like establishing the antithesis. The first sloka describes the unlimited benefits of Sankirtan. In the first part, Sankirtan is the means, and also the second part of the first sloka, Sankirtan, is the end. It gives complete fulfillment of the soul. But second sloka, in spite of establishing so much glories and so much merciful and very liberal nature of the holy name, we are still blocked. As a sadhaka since eternity, we may have endeavored many times, but still we have not become eligible to attain the full mercy of the holy name, to attain, to cause the perfection of our human potential. So today, and towards the end in last sharing, and especially establishing the superlative exclusive glory of Krishna Nam, that was the question put by our Kirtaniya Sadahari Das. The Sikshastakam prayers are so deep. We try to, how much we can, with our limited time, we can barely. But today we will just, again, to establish this antithesis, because in first one hearing or one time reading, it is not sufficient, because it is very deep. What we are supposed to evaluate or get from this studying of Sikshastakam is to perfectly or sufficiently analyze our present position and benefit from this to absolute end, not for any intermittent or in-between achievements. Our exclusive focus should be only that, to receive what Mahaprabhu has actually come to give us. That should always remain our exclusive focus. And to reach that end, we will find this culture of this study very, very fascinating. Just imagine the intensity of Mahaprabhu when he is expressing this antithesis of this second sloka. Nam namakari baudha nij sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi Durdaiva mitri shamiha janinanuraga. O Krishna, your holy name bestows all auspiciousness upon the living entities. Therefore, for the benefit of the living entities, you eternally manifest your innumerable names, Ram, Krishna, Govinda, etc. So Krishna has manifested so much variegatedness in his names. You have invested all those names with all the potencies of your respective personal forms. So as much potency Krishna himself has, all that potency has been bestowed in the name, because Krishna is still paroksha, indirect, unmanifest to us. But he has, with equal potency of his, has come in our life as his names. That's why the glories of the name. So you have invested those names with all the potencies of your respective personal forms. Out of causeless mercy, you have not even imposed any restrictions on the chanting and remembrance of such names, as it is the case with other processes, correct? Even within on the path of pure devotional service, many sandhya vandanas and the arati, different rituals, or all even related to the pure devotional service, they are time bound, correct? Which must be chanted only at a specific times of the day. In other words, at any time of the day or night, the holy name can be chanted and remembered. This is the provision you have made. How liberal. Oh Lord, this is your causeless mercy upon the living entities. So Mahaprabhu is a sadhaka acknowledging all this wonderful, merciful arrangement of the Lord. But nonetheless, I am so unfortunate. So we can join Mahaprabhu, definitely all of us we can join. If Mahaprabhu begs like this, I am so unfortunate due to committing offenses that I have not awoken any attachment for your holy name, Nanuragaha, which is so easily accessible and bestows all good fortune. Because Krishna, the person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Sri Nama, the holy name, and Sri Nami, the possessor of the name, are one and the same fundamental truth. This is for us, for most of us, could be mere information. So we are targeting the realization that we can feel when we'll directly feel, we'll be able to feel that name of Krishna is absolutely non-different. So that is that access. So our full access to the name is provided very liberally. Now if we can imbibe that faith, then the process begins, and we will not stop until we realize how Krishna and his name, they are non-different. There is no difference between them. Sri Krishna Nam Sankirtana is extremely beneficial, therefore, for everyone in all respects. Therefore, in order to arouse our faith, or the faith in us towards the holy name of Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally broadcast. Personally broadcast means he demonstrated through his own practice, personally broadcast the supreme utility of Krishna Nama Sankirtana. Utility to what end? To attain the perfection of our human potential. So he says, O Krishna, O most merciful one, seeing me devoid of all shelter, you have manifested your holy names. Being moved by your causeless mercy, you have many names. So principally, direct names, Krishna, Govinda, Madhusudana, Narayan, etc. They are the principal names. And then many secondary names, right? God the Great, or whatever, secondary addresses, Paramatma, Brahma, Niyanta, the Supreme Controller, Ishvara, all these are the secondary names. Creator, Uparwala, many people say, Uparwala sab dekhta hai. The one who is above is looking, seeing everything. So these are the secondary names. But the primary names, you can feel the person, isn't it? You can feel, because if we know the person, we will definitely call him by his name. Because those who do not know the person, they will call him as God, big, even Allah, or whatever different things. So the primary names one can feel because Krishna's all the glories and his pastimes are described in the scriptures. So when we take Krishna's primary names, principal names, we can feel all the potencies, and all the we can feel the effect. But the real problem is that real problem is with us. Still, what we discussed in last time, there is some scriptural basis. In the scriptures give scriptural references how glorious Krishna's names are in the potency, and how much merciful the Lord has been. The scriptures describe this very wonderful. Many scriptures, and especially chanting the holy name Krishna causes the amazing transformation. The chanting of the holy name is the most effective method for everyone at whatever stage of sadhana we are. It is beneficial, and it is both the means and also the end. Even at the perfected stage, the chanting is practiced, no? Because it is the food for the soul, glorification of the Lord. Kirtaniye, that's why Krishna's one attribute is Kirtaniye Sada, one who is worthy to be glorified all the time, Sada. So at every stage, Krishna's name should be glorified. And Shukdev Goswami, especially if we see this, the glory of the holy name in context of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can imagine the position of Parikshit Maharaj, who is cursed to leave his body in 7 days, and Shukdev Goswami now he has to give a very quick, direct process to cause the perfection of his human potential, Parikshit Maharaj's. So we are basically in the same boat. Everybody has to live during these 7 days only, correct? So one of the 7 days, our exit will also come. So we need a guaranteed process. And Shukdev Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the beginning, very beginning of his start, when he started speaking, he says, Etan nirvidyamananam ichchitam akuto bhayam yoginam nripa nirnitam hare namanu kirtanam. See the effect. In order to draw our attention towards the value and the indispensable necessity of taking shelter of the holy name, or he's quoting the Shukdev Goswami is relating what he's saying. He's saying, O king, it is the opinion of all the authorities. It's an established fact by the stalwart pure devotees and stalwart Mahajanas and the scriptures and all the previous acharyas, that whether one is an unalloyed devotee, etan nirvidyamananam, unalloyed devotee, what is his nature? One who is detached from material existence on account of direct experience of the misery of this material world. How one becomes a pure devotee, or how one becomes exclusively devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whether one is an unalloyed devotee, detached from material existence on account of direct experience of the misery of material life, whether one is desirous of elevation to the heavenly planets or desires of liberation. Ichchitam. If he wants to become free from all doubts and fears, or if he wants to become free from all doubts and fear, then this is the only means. Whether one is desirous of elevation to the heavenly planets or liberations, or whether one be a self-satisfied yoginam nrip nirnitam Hare Namanukirtanam. One should chant the holy name of the Lord with great love. So that was the recommendation of Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj in the very beginning. Of course, for 7 days he will keep hearing, but he has given the conclusion. If 7 days come in 7 seconds, then he got it. Simply just take shelter. And this is the perfected process without any doubt and fear. So we all need a get process. So this Anukirtanam is citing after the authorities of the pure devotees, this holy name will deliver us without any doubt. So this is the prominence, So, prominent role is Anukirtanam. We have to constantly. So even to attain the position of Kirtaniya Sadahari, the prominence of chanting is very much there, Means we have to find, in order to become situated in the status of Kirtaniya Sada Hari, of course, many other engagements are there also, studying Srimad Bhagavatam. What we are doing at this time is also part of the Kirtaniya Sadahari. We sit here for 2.5 hours, but and other things also. But we will find that in order to become situated in Kirtaniya Sadahari, this chanting will be prominent. So the prominence of chanting is also described very wonderfully. And not only that, even if the holy name comes in contact with an uncultured people, mlechas, and who is intolerant of the service of the Lord, but somehow that if he happens to, holy name will act. If he somehow happens to hear the holy name, or somehow Shraddhaya Helaya, not by faith, but even jokingly, he just says, Hare Krishna, what are these Hare Krishnas coming here? the name will act. The word, especially the words Nam Anukirtanam, means either constant chanting or chanting to an extent that is appropriate for one's practice of bhakti. Somehow we cannot free ourselves from chanting. At any stage, chanting will be an indispensable part of our life. So, if one really wants to become free from all fear and doubt, then chanting is the only means. This is described. And especially the potency of it is described in the scriptures. How potent is just one name. Namno hi yavati shakti papa nirharnam hare. We should meditate, and we should be reminded of this level of potency of the Lord. That one name, how potent it is. He said, Namno hi yavati shakti papa nirharne hare tavat kartum na shaknoti patakam pataki narah. Simply by chanting one name of Krishna, Hari, a sinful person can counteract the reactions to more sins than he can commit. Very amazing description, exposing the potency of the holy name, one holy name. Simply by chanting one holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he is able to commit. How amazing. This is the potency. Now, before coming to the antithesis, we have to become so enlightened by the real glory of holy name. And then we can just work on how can I be so bereft from getting at least some effect of the purification through holy name. Just to describe, just to cause that humility in us, the scriptures and stalwart devotees, they are describing the glory. The potential power of the holy name is so much. How can I be then? This it must force us to think something could be that wrong with me. Yes, that is the thing. We must come to that understanding. Srimad Bhagavatam elsewhere says, Tadashma saram hridayam batetam yad grihyamane harinama dheyam na vikriyetatha yada vikaro netre jalam gatra ruheshu harsha. The Krishna's holy name, if properly chanted, then it has the power to make a complete change of our heart. So, says that if one's heart does not melt and begin to flow towards the Supreme Lord upon hearing and chanting His holy name, if one's eyes do not fill with tears, and the hairs of one's body do not stand on an end due to ecstasy, that is the potential effect of the holy name on a person. If these things don't happen, which are supposed to happen very naturally, if these things don't happen, then one should know that one's heart has become as hard as iron due to committing nama aparadha. That is our position. The holy name is so powerful and so sweet, and it can deliver one from material existence, because we have no other choice. We have not explored the beauty and the sweetness of the holy name and transcendence. But this is the potency. How is it that we can be deprived of its supreme benefit? Madhura Madhuram, how glorious and sweet the holy name is. It is described Madhuram Madhuram, Madhura Madhuram Etan Mangalam Mangalanam, Sakala Nigama Valli Satphalam Chit Swarupam, Sakridapi Parigitam Shraddhaya Helayava, Bhriguvar Naramatram Taryet Krishna Nama, the glory of Krishna name. Of all that is auspicious, the holy name of Sri Krishna stands supremely auspicious. Of all that is sweet, the holy name of Krishna is supremely sweet still. It is the eternal spiritual fruit of the wish-fulfilling tree. The name itself is a wish-fulfilling tree. Eternal sweet spiritual fruit of the wish-fulfilling tree of the entire Vedas. The Vedas is compared to a tree, then holy name, Krishna's name is the ultimate, sweetest, fully ripened fruit. Fruit means the ultimate benefit, correct? So it is the ultimate benefit of all the Vedas and the embodiment of the absolute truth. So the holy name itself is the embodiment of the absolute truth, endowed with full consciousness. So name, the word itself, because it is non-different from Krishna, one can, it has the, when properly administered, then it becomes alive. It starts dancing on one's tongue. It enters the heart through the ears and captures the whole thing. It is so potent. But we don't feel that effect. But it has its glories like that. So, how is it? The holy name is because it is completely divine, and that's why it is not possible to grasp its divine or transcendental nature without the proper attitude. Atah Sri Krishna namadhi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevon mukhe jivvadau swayame vispuratyada. Therefore, the transcendental names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna cannot be perceived with the gross material senses. What to do? But they automatically manifest themselves on the tongue and other senses that have awakened eagerness for the transcendental service of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada translates this sloka very practical, to beginning with the tongue. So when we partake in, this Nama Sankirtan, singing, Krishna's name, we have to utilize the tongue, correct? Jivvadau, beginning with the tongue, and also Adav means to begin with, but also involving every other senses also. So it's not limited to simply speaking from the tongue. It captures, it involves the proclivity of all other senses, because it is so sweet. Nama Chintamani Krishna's. It is Chintamani. It's like a wish-fulfilling stone. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha. The absolute realm is comprising all the transcendental gems, wish-fulfilling. So is the name Nama Chintamani Krishna's Caitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvat Nama Namino. These are the glories, non-different. The holy name of Krishna awards all benedictions because it is Chintamani. It's the embodiment of all transcendental mellows. Like Krishna is the embodiment of all transcendental mellows. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, so is the name. The holy name is complete beyond the influence of Maya. Purna Shuddho, Nitya Mukto, and eternally liberated. Abhinatvat Nama Namino. Since Krishna's name and Krishna himself are non-different, so this is the glory. So we find that the existence of all the potencies in the holy name is established throughout the Vedic annals, all the scriptures, Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, everywhere. Unlimited glories and the potency of the holy name. And so not only the glories of the holy names are explained, is explained in the scriptures, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the Lord has bestowed all those potencies in his holy names. Means Krishna, whatever potency Krishna has, he has invested all his potency in his holy names. So in the process of other processes, the considerations are there, correct? But this Sankirtan or taking the name, it requires no formalities, no rules and no regulations. You have not imposed any restrictions regarding time, place, and circumstances or person, performer. Oh, this person cannot perform chanting. So this is such a liberal, such a leniency on the part of the Lord to bestow the causeless mercy upon the living entity. It only establishes his limited mercy upon all of us. But in spite of this, we are so unfortunate that we have failed to obtain even the slightest attraction towards Krishna's most munificent names. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pulling all of us, all the sadhakas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if you think him as a sadhaka, he's a perfected person. So no matter at what stage we are in our sadhana, this is our also goal, that we come to this level of a kind of remorse. It's a remorsefulness on part of Mahaprabhu that yes, you have bestowed all the mercy, but I have been self-depriving myself because of my wrong attitude, because of the offenses. So this is the thing that will be subject matter of the third sloka. But here we are trying to sufficiently appreciate the merciful nature of the Lord as he has come in our lives, or he has agreed to come in our lives through his holy name, because as a person we have rejected, we have not cared for him, and that's why Krishna, in order to free us from that offensive nature, he has manifested himself in his holy name. Durdaivam. Durdaiva means durbhagya, or misfortune. What is the misfortune? The presence of offenses, anything which deprives us. There are two kinds, no? Our Durdaivam is up to two level. On the level of ignorance, when a person is not a sadhaka on this path of pure devotional service. So his ignorance itself is his durbhagya, correct? Somebody is ignorant of all this transcendental information, that ignorance itself is punishment. It itself is a misfortune. But for us as sadhakas, we have come on the platform of knowledge, knowing so many things, at least for information's sake. And in spite of knowing so much glories of the holy name, in spite of becoming sadhakas, and still if we are not able to get the sufficient, most liberating benefit of chanting holy name, that must be not due to sins, because sins are committed in ignorance. Offenses are committed on the platform of knowledge, knowingly. And that's why for sadhakas, when we say Durdaivam, it is due to aparadha. Offenses to the holy name, nama aparadha. Nama aparadha will be. So we should be very aware of all the 10 offenses to the holy name. And the offenses causes our distraction from the beauty, from the glories of the Lord. That's why in Vaishnava culture, Asat Sangha Chadi Ei Vaishnavachar, the emphasis is given on avoiding the Asat Sangha. Asat Sangha means what? Sangha means attachment. Asat means impermanent or temporary. So this worldly affairs, worldly connections, worldly attachments, they distract our attention from the Lord. Isn't so? So in this material world, which is, separation of conglomeration of three modes of material nature, however fancy and wonderfully decorated it is illusory. And this illusory energy, by the influence of it, the living entities become easily distracted from the Lord, because the attachment to innumerable types of sense gratification we can think of. So when a person is distracted from the Lord due to his attachment to innumerable objects of sense gratification, then he's distracted. And once distracted, one cannot make any endeavor to direct his attention to the Lord. This is what has happened since eternity. And only to gratify the sense, their senses, even they accept religiosity, engross in karma kand or jnana kand or other methods that simply produce misery, because they are bereft from the connection of the Lord. But the living entity can never achieve eternal welfare by these methods. So now Krishna becomes concerned. Living entities are his part and parcel, and especially the whole Vedic culture or religiosity, all the scriptures, all the stalwart, even all the incarnations, all education, all arrangements, even the manifestation of this world, creation, everything is targeting the human soul. Do we know this? All this amazing arrangement. The target of the scriptures is not Krishna. Target of the scripture is human soul, to cause his awakening towards his ultimate good, Krishna. So Krishna is very much concerned about the eternal welfare of the living entity, and thinking thus, the unlimitedly merciful Krishna manifested his holy names to the living entities as the method of obtaining pure devotional service or connection to him, loving connection to him. Because in bhakti, because the living entity has been hankering since eternity for bliss. And the real bliss, the source of all bliss is Krishna's Hladini Shakti. You know? So what is this bhakti is a active principle of Krishna's Hladini Shakti, the pleasure-giving potency. Bhakti is predominated by the Hladini potency, pleasure-giving potency of Sri Krishna. Swarup Shakti. Swarup Shakti means internal potency. Hladini, Sandhini, Sambit. But bhakti that's what the living entity needs, everyone needs to experience bliss, to experience joy. And Krishna has made that arrangement. through his name, by chanting the holy name of Krishna, what happens? That Ladini, that pleasure-giving potency, is transmitted into the hearts of the living entities. That's why chanting is the essential aspect of bhakti, especially in this Kali Yuga. Anybody who somehow or other connected to Sankirtan or chanting of Krishna's holy name, then he feels that chanting of the holy name is somehow some this blissful experience has been transmitted in our hearts. We have experienced this, but in spite of hearing and chanting, the living entity does not obtain attachment toward the holy name. How this will be caused? So that's where the Bhagavad Dharma, that if we come in touch with a person who is attached to the holy name, then through that connection, through that shelter, Sangha, one can attain that taste or the attachment towards the holy name. So in this sadhu sangha, even when we come in touch with devotees, initial faith in what the person is speaking, and then we gain that's just initial faith. So when we find something interesting, hearing somebody, first time we heard somebody, we did not have directly the faith in the person, but whatever he said, if it made sense to us, we listen to him, then our faith develop in the person ultimately, isn't it? So when the faith in the person, then what he says, then it solidifies, correct? When we develop faith in the person, and that is the spiritual master, the concept of spiritual master. That's why we become initiated in the process of chanting, receive the holy name from the mouth of a spiritual master, and at the same time being attentive to avoid committing offenses. And if we perform our japa and kirtan, etc., then we benefit. So I thought it is essential that we consider the 10 offenses also. Our acharyas, especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur, has very much emphasized to become very conscious of the offenses while chanting. 3 stages of chanting which we'll discuss, and in order to come to pure chanting which will give us the love of Godhead. So he's describing 10 offenses. The first offense is, we will not read the Sanskrit but just the English. To criticize the devotees of the Lord is a very grievous offense to the holy name. How can Sri Krishna tolerate criticism of those great souls who are deeply devoted to the holy name and who spread its glories throughout the world? We want to endear ourselves to Krishna. So if we undermine or insult or not show proper respect to those who have already endeared to Krishna, our very purpose will be defied, isn't it? Our purpose through chanting is to impress Krishna and to endear ourselves to Krishna. In the process, if we defy and deny and undermine, insult or displease, ignore offend those who have already endeared themselves to Krishna. You will lose, no? So that's why the offense number one. Second is Shivasya Sri Vishnu Ye Guna Namadi Sakalam. Basically describes that those persons who by mundane intelligence see a difference in the all auspicious transcendental holy names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Vishnu. In other words, who consider them to be like material phenomena and thus different from the Lord himself. Two aspects. They are transcendental. So those who consider the names and forms and qualities and pastimes of Sri Vishnu like any material, or different from Lord himself, commit an offense against the holy name. Further, one who considers the qualities, names, and other attributes of Lord Shiva to be different from those of Vishnu commits a serious offense. So this offense, it has many misunderstandings and not proper understanding. Basically, Shiva Sri Vishnu. It is Sri Vishnu. The prominence is given to Lord Vishnu. And because Shiva is one manifestation of Sri Vishnu only, in that light, we should see that it is the glory of Sri Vishnu only. The name of Shiva, because Shiva is none other than Vishnu in another form. Shiva here in this second Namaprad mention is being referred to is none other than Vishnu in another form. Because the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Shiva and those of Sri Vishnu are then identical. So in what light we see Lord Shiva? Shiva is not any independent entity other than Lord Vishnu. Kshiram yatha dadhi vikara vishesha yogat sanjayati nahi tatha prithagasti hetu. Lord Shiva is only one transformation of Vishnu Krishna. And although he appears as Ishvara, in our Vedic culture also, anywhere where the word Ishwar comes, it is mostly Lord Shiva. Trambeshkaram, Kaleshwar, all these Shivlingas, well, Jyotirlingas, Ishvara. So although he appears very powerfully as the controller, but he is not the supreme. He is not the independent supreme controller. So, because he is only one manifestation of Krishna. That's why Shivasya Sri Vishnu Ihe Guna Namadi Sakalam. So we should not perceive Lord Shiva as anything independent of another God. One God is Vishnu and another is Shiva. No? Shiva is only a transformation, another form. So the prominence is to Vishnu. That's why Shivasya Sri Vishnu, the word Sri is in the verse appears in front of Vishnu and not in front of Shiva to give prominence to Vishnu. So the name Shiva, because it is only another manifestation of Vishnu only. So So the name Shiva here simply indicates Sri Vishnu. Can we appreciate that? We cannot see Lord Shiva or his name independent of the name of Vishnu. Now in the scriptures, basically many times the injunctions in different scriptures, they appear contradictory. Like with regard to Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, because to consider them on equal platform, one is considered Pashandi, means Nastic. But in different kalpas, what happened? Sometimes when the no eligible living entity is available to take the position of Brahma, then what happens? Lord himself assumes the position, takes the position of Brahma. So in that kalpa or that creation, Brahma and Vishnu, they are the same person. So then in some else places, the injunction is one should not see them any different. If anybody differentiates between Lord Shiva, Brahma and Vishnu, then it is offensive. On the other hand, certain places said that if you consider them on the equal platform, then you are called Nastic, Pashandi. In certain kalpa, some living entity takes the work of Lord Shiva. Now Lord Shiva is described as non-different from Vishnu, or only one special manifestation or transformation of Vishnu only. Khiram yatha dadhi vikar vishesh yogat sanjayati nahi tatha prithagasti hetu yeh shambhutam api tatham samupaiti karyad. For a specific purpose, Lord Krishna only manifests, transforms as a Shiva. So the source of Shiva is Vishnu. From Vishnu comes Shiva. But just as from milk the yogurt comes, yogurt in essence is nothing but milk only. But the source is milk. And now the yogurt cannot become milk. It's a transformation for a specific purpose. So in that light, although yogurt is non-different from milk, but it is not milk. So that difference so the duality should not be, duality means they are not two things, same substance, but a different manifestation. So in that regard, we can appreciate the scriptures many times. When one takes one-sided approach of certain scriptures, the context is in a different kalpa, different manifestation. So sometimes Lord Brahma position is taken by Lord Vishnu, and sometimes the Lord Shiva, who is known different from Lord Vishnu, but when some living entity performs the act of Lord Shiva, then they are different. So in what context we have to appreciate like that. Third, Namaprad Gurur Avagya, to disregard the spiritual master who is established in all the truths regarding the holy name, considering him to be an ordinary man possessing a perishable body composed of material elements, is the third offense against the holy name. So this is very critical, correct? What we see, what we perceive in the spiritual master, we perceive and judge him from his external body, but external body is not Sri Guru. Sri Guru is the Shakti Tattva, is the mercy incarnation, the mercy manifest of Krishna in our life. And that's why to perceive him as an associate of the Lord, in our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lineage, parampara, we perceive the spiritual master as an eternal associate of Nityananda in Chaitanya Leela, and a choicest kinkari of Srimati Radharani in Nikunja Leela. So simultaneously, two perception of the spiritual master transcendental perception, then one will not mistake to regard him as an ordinary man possessing a perishable body. Because perishable body is just a covering, external covering. But in the consciousness, what we are conscious of. So when we are conscious of the spiritual master Sri Guru as an associate of Nityananda or as a choicest kingly maid servant of Srimati Radharani, then we will be freed. We will stay free from committing any offense to the spiritual master. The fourth is Shruti Shastra Nindanam. The fourth offense is to find fault with the Vedas, the Puranas that are in the mode of goodness. Some are considered to be in the lower modes and other scriptures. Fifth is to consider the glories of the holy name to be exaggerated. Nothing is exaggeration. It is our realization or the level of our consciousness is still in a very lower strata, lower dimension. Glories of the holy name, they cannot be exaggerated actually. We cannot glorify the glories of the holy name enough. It's just we are not evolved enough as yet to appreciate the unlimited, inconceivable glories and potency of the holy name. Sixth is Hari Namni Kalpanam. The sixth offense is to ascribe one's own imaginary meaning to the holy name. Seventh is persons who have the tendency to commit sinful actions on the strength of the holy name cannot be purified by any artificial processes of yoga, such as, So that is one has to be very careful. We don't take it for granted because I take the holy name, so now I can do carelessly. I can be careless. No. We cannot, just because holy name is so purifying, it can purify the sinful reactions of more sins than I can commit. We just studied, correct? So in that pretext, if one does not stop committing sin, we find in Bible also, Lord Jesus Christ says, sin no more, so that applies to, that is part of the Vaishnava culture. When we have embarked upon this process of full purification, chanting of the holy name, that means to get its maximum effect, we have to stop sinning also. We cannot afford to commit, remain sinful on the strength of chanting the holy name. Eighth is to consider routine religion, penances, renunciation, sacrifices, and other ordinary pious activities in the material mode of goodness to be equal to the transcendental holy name of the Lord is negligence and is thus considered an offense. To consider that Harinam chanting Sangha is also part of the Karma Kanda things, other religious processes recommended in the Vedas for different goals, for material benefits and other things. Holy name is totally transcendental, and its target is to attain the highest perfection of our human potential. It is not meant to just keep us gratified in this material perishable realm. It is meant to connect us to the supreme welfare of the soul. 9, to instruct the glories of the holy name to faithless persons who are averse to hearing and chanting the holy name is also an offense. A lot of education needed, and that's why Srila Prabhupada emphasized the distribution of literature. At least one cannot fight with the book. If you start arguing with a person who is of this nature, one who's faithless person like this, but because human being has that has the tendency to be educated because one goes through different phases of life, and sometimes something can make good sense. So before educating, if one before preparing sufficient confidence of faith, the glories of the holy name, it would be like offensive, because it is not, we are not properly creating the atmosphere or the platform on which the glory of the holy name should be preached. If the person is offensive and averse, then best thing is just to give him some book and wish him good. This will make you feel very happy. Many temptations. It will help in having good sleep. It will help you. It will give you peace of mind. Like that. So rather than establishing, glories of the holy name to a person who is not prepared for it as yet. 10th is those who, in spite of hearing the astonishing glories of the holy name, maintain the conception that I am this material body and that worldly objects are mine, and who display no persistence in our love for the utterance of the holy name, are also offenders. So Srila Prabhupada writes that to remain inattentive while chanting is also an offense. So that's why it is not an ordinary act. It is not a casual process. Just because we have started chanting and participating, it requires very progressive, ever enlightening, awakening, remembering, be reminded of the unlimited glories and potencies of the holy name, so that we never take chanting very casually. So this wonderful arrangement is made for chanting. So if these offenses against the holy name, if we commit, then what to do? We got so much used to committing offenses, isn't it? How to avoid it? Just constantly keep chanting. If we keep always chanting the holy name, we will have no time left for committing offense. Correct? Offense is committed only when we disconnect from chanting all the times. So one should constantly chant the holy name, feeling very aggrieved at heart. By such constant chanting of Harinam, there will be no opportunity to commit further offenses, and all previous offenses will be destroyed. Correct? Therefore, one should constantly chant the holy name of Krishna. By this process, all offenses will be dissipated, and one will obtain love for Krishna, the highest attainment of life. So again, this misfortune aspect is established. The living entities, we are a conscious being. Conscious being means we have free will, and our free will is still critical. Why this education about free will and all these things to the human being? Do animals don't have free will? Do devatas, other species, they don't have free will? Whatever allowance, whatever freedom Krishna has given to the living entity in different species, they have their limited free will, so do we. But their free will is settled. Their free will is not in critical position. A dog or tiger's free will is not in critical position. There is no implication on their part. If a dog acts like a dog, or tiger comes and eats anyone, in any animal kingdom, there is no implication. But human being, this is karma yoni. It is meant to cause yoga. If it is, because when one becomes a yogi, then one becomes absorbed with all the karma connections of previous lives. Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. Aprarabdha Kritam Papam Kutam Bijam Phalonmukham. Kramenaiva Praliyete Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. So this in human form of life, we have the possibility to become connected to Krishna in love. Vishnu Bhakti Ratatmanam. To become absolved of all the sinful reactions of previous lifetimes. So the opportunity through Sankirtan is to utilize, make the best use of our free will for independence. But as we have, when the living entity misuses his independence and remains uninterested in the Lord, then he is bound in this perishable kingdom of this Maya, this material world. So this is our Durdaiva, correct? The initial Durdaiva misfortune, that we are trapped here in Maya because of the misuse of our free will. Now through satsang, when we come across this education for the living entity in the form of this Bhagavad culture, then one can become educated. But until he becomes educated, he's trapped in the kingdom of Maya only. So that is his misfortune. But Krishna has made this arrangement that every human soul gets the opportunity to become connected to Krishna. So misfortune continues until then. So the misfortune or Durdaiva refers to the living entity's apathy to the Supreme Lord, towards the service of Krishna. That's called Bhagavad Vimukta. He is averse to the service of the Lord because of long-rooted conditioning in ignorance. And that is called Pap Granthi. On the platform of ignorance, his remaining stuck on the platform of ignorance has caused his Durbhagya or Durdaiva or misfortune. But in spite of coming, even after coming on the path of this pure devotional service, Sankirtan, one is reminded that the offenses on the holy name can again cause his misfortune. So basically, all these unwanted or the conditional proclivities of anya bhilashita, different aspirations for sense gratification and even liberation, they are all anarthas. Cultivation of knowledge, jnana, directed towards liberation, correct? And the cultivation of karma to gain better sense gratification. So these are all departure from his highest interest. That's why the chanting in the three stages, the offensive chanting, one begins with, because then to get over from the offensive chanting is to somehow, when we study and we find that it's most implicating, the offenses become most implicating, and they deprive us from getting the real benefit of holy name. So if we somehow get such education, then we can come to offenseless chanting. At least we don't continue committing offenses. So the name chanted with offenses, then the reflection, like the semblance of holy name, namabhas, and ultimately the pure name. So at present, because the living entity remains covered by the impurities of the three paths, correct? Anya Bhilashita. People are conditioned with so many unwanted desires and ambitions in life. And even in that condition, when they start participating in chanting Krishna's name, so the benefit is not sufficient. The benefit is impaired because of their impurities of different desires. They remain so much engrossed in the pursuits of threefold material happiness: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All these tendencies, a religious person takes great pride that whatever he is doing, he is following within the sanction of the religiosity. But because he is infested with all these 10 offenses we just discussed, he commits still more offenses to the name. So at that time, the name which is chanted is not pure holy name, Shuddha Nam, but the name chanted with offenses. And he continues in the name of, culture, religiosity. Now, situation changes in a person's life. So sometimes being harassed by his restless state, he avoids material sense gratification, hoping to obtain peace. The very sense gratification which he has become engrossed give him so much burning, so much disturbance that he is hankering for peace. And so he avoids material sense gratification, hoping to obtain peace. For his welfare, he takes up this chanting of the holy name, but remains indifferent towards the cultivation of Sambandha Gyan. Just chanting itself it gives him so much solace, so much peace. Many people, those who come to this Krishna consciousness movement, they just like this chanting because it is so pleasing, so sweet in hearing and everything. They have consciously nothing to do with their relation with Krishna. But at that time also, the name that he chants is not the pure name, but Namabhas, or a semblance of the holy name. By chanting in the stage of Namabhas, he becomes liberated from the materialistic conception of life. So that is the effect of chanting offenselessly, and becomes eligible to take up the service of the Lord eventually. And when he associates with the devotees and takes shelter of a pure devotee in Parampara, the pure devotees, then their misfortune in the shape of mundane existence and impersonal liberation, their aspiration for sense gratification, bhog and tyaga, liberation, they become freed from it, and then they realize that the ultimate benefit of chanting is the love of Krishna. Chant the pure of Krishna. Consequently, they attain unalloyed love for Krishna, Krishna Prema. So the process to attain freedom from Namaprad, that is the main thing. Observing the predicament of the conditioned living entities, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced all of us on the system for performing Nam Bhajan. But the living entity's absence of attachment for the holy name of Krishna is our misfortune. So Mahaprabhu ultimately, for an awakened soul or sadhaka, what is our misfortune? We discuss misfortune on the platform of ignorance. We discuss misfortune on the platform as a sadhaka. But for an awakened soul, Mahaprabhu is describing misfortune that I have not developed any attachment for the holy name. So that is the real feeling of remorse or kind of that how is it that in spite of chanting your holy name, there is no attachment for the holy name of Krishna. That is my misfortune. This is very personal, subjective, correct? And Mahaprabhu is calling that the real misfortune. We discuss sinful tendency as cause of our misfortune on ignorance, as a sadhaka, committing offense in holy name, that is become our misfortune, durbhagya. But if it doesn't cause anything, non-attachment to the holy name is the misfortune. But in spite of such misfortune, the mercy of Krishna is always present. There is a method of becoming freed from the hands of Namaprad. What is that? Considering for awakened soul, what an awakened soul, awakened sadhak thinks, wow, these offenses are just killing me. Considering offenses to be like a thunderbolt, one should never engage in them. So awakened, correct? One who is awakened means one is incessantly enlightened, that he will not do anything wrong. He cannot do, because he is awakened. He cannot remain sleeping under the darkness of ignorance. So, considering offenses to be like a thunderbolt, one should never engage in them. And by incessantly chanting the holy names, there will be no occasion to commit such offenses. By chanting just namabhas, of course, without offenses, one can attain liberation, but that is not the goal. We have to obtain the qualification to chant the holy name purely, the attainment of all such opportunities. So we have the opportunity to chant the holy name purely, and this should be perceived as mercy, kripa of Bhagwan. So whatever culture in Krishna consciousness, if we come to this understanding, this point, that we have received so much mercy to be able to chant pure name, then that should be this understanding, this acknowledgement, or this perception should be considered as an indication of Krishna's special mercy. So the living entities can then attain exclusive, ultimate benefit of attaining the service of the divine couple, Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. Of course, so much liberal, in spite of so much liberality on the part of Krishna, only we have underperformed. So this acknowledgement that is only my misfortune. In spite of the Lord being so liberal and so lenient, so merciful, when we acknowledge this, then we can settle with this understanding. Yes, it's only I am on fault. Then I enter the no complaint zone. Yes, when we acknowledge our own mistake, fault on our part, then we will stop blaming anyone else. And with that attitude, then we become the proper recipient of the holy name. Basically, but still the importance of Krishna's name Mahaprabhu says, Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. Many names. But then how Krishna's name stands out? That was the question last time. Caitanya Sikshastakam asked, So how we establish supreme or importance of Krishna's name? Many names of Krishna, Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, all are Krishna's names. But why so much importance of Krishna name? On one side, when Mahaprabhu says that all the potency has been invested in all the holy names. And all the holy names, all the names of are non-different from the person. Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, they are all Supreme Personality of Godhead. And different manifestation, different forms, and their names, all the potency of the Supreme is invested in the holy names. So, if all the names have the same potency and same glory in all of them, but in the scriptures we find that certain names, especially Krishna name, is given a special importance and glory. Comparatively also, the scriptures describe like this. So sometimes the sadhakas ask the question, why is it so? And now we have the opportunity now to explore why the name Krishna, the person who performed his wonderful pastimes in Gokul Vrindavan, in all the names of Krishna, in relation to his different pastimes, Govinda, Gopal, Murli, Braj Bihari, Brajendra Nandan, etc., Yashoda Nandan, all these names which are related to Krishna, the person only, or the manifestation of Godhead as Krishna. In the scriptures, somewhere it is described that the name of Lord Rama is equal to importance to 1,000 names of Vishnu. Ram Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tattulyam Ram Nam Varanane. This is Lord Shiva describing, or Devi Parvati in Padma Purana. Then elsewhere in Brahmanda Purana, the Krishna's name, speciality of Krishna's name is described. That Sahasra Namnam Punyanam Trira Vrityatu Yat Palam Eka Vrityatu Krishnasya Namaikam Tat Prechati. If the 1,000 names of Vishnu is recited 3 times, that much benefit one gets by taking Eka Vrityatu Krishnasya, by taking just one name of Krishna. So this comparative superiority or extra merit is given to Krishna's name. Of course, as Mahaprabhu says, that different sadhakas have different attraction for different names of the God. Whichever name they take, the Lord has invested all his potency in it. But still, different attraction to different names is also adjusted. But from a particular point of view, from the benefit or the effect of chanting Krishna's name, does it stand out? Is it superior? In some context, how we draw the conclusion. If one wants to attain the highest benefit or highest level of love of Godhead, then Krishna is the very embodiment of love. Highest level of love of God means in highest rasa. The 5 rasas, the Shanta rasa, Dashya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhur rasa. As we have understood that the Madhur rasa, the highest rasa, it includes the previous rasas or the tendencies in the service which is conducted in Shanta rasa is also included in Dashya rasa. And service of Sakhya rasa includes the service of Dashya and Shanta rasa. The service in Vatsalya rasa includes the service of Sakhya, Dashya and Shanta. But in Madhur rasa, service in Madhur rasa includes the service of other rasa. So, Krishna, who is the embodiment of all rasa, Akhila rasa amrit murtihi, Prasrimar Ruchi Ruddha Taraka Pali, Kalita Shyama Lalito, Radha Priyan, Vidhur Jayati. Although Krishna subjugates everywhere, everyone through his very overpowering beauty, Kalita Shyama Lalito. But Radha Priyan, but he falls in love with Krishna. So in Madhuras also, Krishna is so much subjugated by the love of Srimati Radharani that rules the supreme. So Mahaprabhu's teaching basically, the proposal is that if one wants to attain or target the highest love of Godhead, then one must worship through Krishna Nam. The mode of worship is chanting for Sri Radha Rashyam only, is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Manobhishta. So, following the direction to for our full participation for Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam, to fulfill the desire of Mahaprabhu, we should be able to appreciate the speciality or exclusive glory of Krishna Nam. Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, that's why. So, although all the names of Krishna, because they are different, all the forms, all the manifestations of Krishna are not different from Krishna. Try to understand. Krishna and Lord Rama, Sriman Narayan, Varaha, they are not two persons. One thing should be very, very clear. The concept, it is very essential that we have very conceptual clarity. The conclusive understanding of the Tattva is very, very essential. All the manifestations of Krishna, different, they are non different from Krishna. But the manifestation of potency is different. The person is the same. Can we appreciate that? Person is the same. Keshava Dhrita Rama Sharira, Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa, Keshava Dhrita Vaman Rupa. Only Krishna manifesting as different incarnations. But in the manifestation of Krishna is Swayam Rupa, the full-fledged manifestation of potencies. In Ram Rupa, it's only Krishna. There is no other person. Person is the same. As Sriman Narayan and Vaikuntha, it's just Vilas Murti of Krishna only. But in Krishna manifestation, all the potencies are fully manifested. So whatever manifestation of form or demeanor or disposition we find in other incarnations, manifestation of Krishna. They are all manifest in Krishna. But the exclusive features of Krishna form, like playing the flute, and then the kind of Rupa Madhuri, the Leela Madhuri, and Prema Madhuri, which are not manifest in other manifestations of Krishna, is Lord Ramchandra, Varaha Nrsimha, or Sriman Narayan. So, although they are all non-different, but in manifestation of the potency, Krishna stands out. Siddhantatas abhedopi. Rupa Goswami gives a wonderful understanding. He says, Siddhantatas abhedopi Sri Krishna Yoho. In conclusion, Siddhanta abhedopi, non-different. Sri means Sriman Narayan. Sri means goddess of fortune, Lakshmi ji. Isha means her Lord. In conclusion, abhedopi, non-different. As far as identity is concerned, Sriman Narayan and Krishna, they are one person. In identity, they are non-different. Abhedopi means non-different. But in our experience, if somebody is standing with four-handed and Shankh Chakra Gada Padma, one person is standing as Krishna playing the flute and all these things, are they not two persons? No, they are just one person manifesting in multiple forms. But they are, because both are God in identity, that's why they are non-different. So what is the difference? Difference is of Rupa. In identity means in Swarupa, they are non-different, but in manifestation, in personality, they are different, because a different level of potency is manifest. In different forms of the Lord, different level, they are different in the manifestation of the potency. So in Krishna manifestation, all the potencies are fully manifest. And that's why something remains exclusive to Krishna, like playing the flute. Like in no other manifestation, Krishna plays the flute. Like in Krishna manifestation, he plays the Ras Leela, Ras dance, correct? तो सिद्धांततः अभेदोपि श्री श्री कृष्ण स्वरूपे रसेनोत्कर्षते कृष्ण रूपम एष रस स्थिति. But when it comes to rasa, the mellow or the exchange of loving behavior, then rasenotkarshate, due to rasa, the utkarsh means superiority. Rasenotkarshate Krishna Rupam. The Krishna Rupa, form of Krishna, is such, it demonstrates such loving exchange with his devotees, that it Rasenotkarshate Krishna Rupam Esha Rasasthiti puts Krishna in a superior position. Krishna's form, not Krishna is God. Is God, they are all God, one God. But in form, Krishna stands out. So that is the understanding. When we were traveling in America, once a devout Ram Bhakta, we met one family. They were our host, and say, you are always, glorifying Krishna, but we are worshippers of Lord Rama. So Lord Ramchandra is also Supreme Personality of Godhead, as you say. I say, yes, they are the same, one person. Then he asked me a question, but so can Lord Rama do the Ras Leela? This was the question asked to us. So what answer we will have to give that person? I said, well, impossible is nothing for God, correct? Lord Ramchandra, the manifestation of Ramchandra, is also Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Yeah, he can perform Ras Leela, but he does not, He has performed Ras Leela in his manifestation as Krishna. Mm. So this is how Krishna form and Krishna name, because he's a Swayam Rupa, he stands out. Again, what Krishna does with regard to bestowing love, in other manifestations, the love was never distributed. Santihi avatara bahave pushkar nabhashya sarvato bhadra. All the manifestations of Krishna are most auspicious. Sarvato bhadra, all of them are bhadra. But Krishna ranya kova latasvapu premado hoti. But other than Krishna, which manifestation of God bestowed love even to the trees and the creepers and animals and everyone? So based on this evidence, we can see that although there are many manifestations of Krishna, but Krishna manifestation stands out in bestowing love. Like Krishna is just like Anek Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Prabha Vishnave, correct? So Krishna is capable to manifest himself in unlimited forms. And so unlimited forms, they are all Krishna's forms, we can say. That's why Krishna is that capable. So different manifestation of Krishna compared to his Swayam Roop manifestation. In Swayam Roop manifestation, just like in a college or school, a person acts as the president, and when he acts as the professor or the teacher, then do you think his glories have come down? No. But in his manifestation as a president, he's also the teacher. But in other capacities, when he's acting as a teacher, the person is the same. But when he acts as the president, he stands out. So in the same way, among many manifestations of Krishna, the Krishna form stands out. So we can say that apparently they are different. Apparently Krishna stands out, because in reality, if it is the same person, but in the absolute, there is no duality between apparent and real. So in reality also, Krishna form stands out because of the actions, and because Krishna form is Swayam Rupa. Swayam Rupa is not manifestation from any other form. Whereas other forms, Sriman Narayan, Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, they attain their godship, or their source is in Krishna form. So this is how we can appreciate the special importance of Krishna name. Whatever little understanding and appreciation of Krishna name we have gathered through the mercy of our acharyas, and we have tried to express here. If any devotee has any question or comments, or please come forward. I think we can stop here. Then next Wednesday we will cover the third sloka of Sikshastakam, which is the process by which we can attain the perfection in chanting. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Pranam, Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.
Fascinating, Shri Guru. Krishna's holy name. And honestly, Shri Guru, hearing this satsang from you, somewhat, what do I say, experience realization or this much fascination in terms of understanding how Krishna's holy name and Krishna himself, the person, are non-different.
So
Amazing, Shri Guru.
that's our target, to realize, to come to that realization. We have been given a task, correct?
Yes.
To come to that level of relishment of Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, that now we cannot be bereft of Krishna even for a moment. Can you be? If Krishna is that
No.
attractive, can you imagine if Brahmaji says Krishna is more attractive than the attraction of millions of Cupid? Just imagine, a little glimpse of that we get. Can we disassociate with Krishna in our consciousness? Our consciousness will be so supercharged by Krishna consciousness. We can go for that experience in our aspiration, that will be wonderful. So we have a long journey to go, but we are on the right track. With this profound, somewhat understanding of our process and the glory of chanting, we have lot to gain only. So we can become greedy. Why we could not gain enough? Because of lack of greed only. So in the material world, to be greedy is not so much appreciated. But on this path, greed alone is appreciated. Any lack of it is a drawback. All right?
Amazing, Shiva. And also vision towards demigods. Oh, so sweet. So how much respect can we have for demigods and every living entity? Hearing this satsang, Shiguru, it's very powerful. And again, hearing this satsang, Shiguru, how to be so careful towards avoiding offenses, any sort of offenses, and genuinely under your divine shelter, Shri Guru, genuinely practicing Krishna consciousness in the pure forms. Thank you so much, Shri Guru. Words cannot define and
Just see the attitude of Krishna's mercy. The mercy of Krishna actually truly manifests through Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu is glorifying the glory of his name, Krishna's name, more than his own glory. Because he's not allowing his access directly, but he's allowing the access to his holy name to all of us in whatever condition we are. So from the living entity's point of view, although Krishna says, Mahaprabhu says that my name, Krishna and Krishna's name are not different, correct? Same potency and everything, that's fine. We are not used to dealing with Krishna in his Swayam Rupa. But everybody is pre-qualified to deal with Krishna's name, correct? And as far as offense is concerned, what happens that if we commit offense to Krishna the person, to the deity or whichever way, then that offense can be absolved by taking shelter of the holy name. But if the offense is committed to the holy name, because so the offense to holy name means those who have taken shelter of the holy name, those who have engaged themselves in glorifying the holy name. If we commit offense to those such persons, then it becomes very offensive. In Namastakam, Rupa Goswami has given this injunction where he says, Vachyam Vachikam iti udeti bhavato nama swarupa dvayam purasmat parameva hanta karunam tatrapi jani mahe यस तस्मिन् विहितापराध निवहे प्राणी समन्तात् भवे दास्ये नेदम उपास्य सोपि ही सदा नंदाम बुधौ मज्जति. What he's saying, oh Krishna, although you and your transcendental name Krishna both are Vibhu. Vibhu means complete God. And so one is a Vigraha, one is the form Krishna, and one is the name Krishna. Although both are manifest in this world, but Rupa Goswami says, but I think your name Krishna or Govinda is more merciful. Is it not correct? The person who comes in whichever forms in front of us, in whichever form the person comes in our presence, we will give credit to him, correct? So instead of Krishna, the person, the name has come in our life, and we can experience the benefits from chanting the holy name. So Rupa Goswami says that more than the person Krishna, his name Krishna is more beneficial, more merciful to the living entity, I think. Because if somebody commits aparadha to the form Krishna or to the Vigraha, to the deity of Krishna, then one can be absolved from that sin simply by chanting his holy name. So this is the thing, because so our experience of Krishna, the person, is through his holy name. So we are introduced to Krishna through his holy name. So we can taste that form of Krishna, That's why Name Ruchi Mahaprabhu's one teaching. All right, one second. Yes. Am I audible?
Pranam Shri Guru. Hare Krishna.
एक second. Yes.
Pranam Shri Guru. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. Many of the things we have heard before also, but every time, every word which appears from your divine lotus mouth, Shri Guru, it feels like spring season or monsoon season appearing first time. And the difference between Shivji and Lord Krishna also so beautifully explained, Shri. One thing you were saying, like when we don't commit nam aparad, then shvet, kampashru, like that ecstatic condition we have. I don't think that condition I have experienced. It is like once in a lifetime or for fraction of seconds. But that condition, what can we do more to remain that condition forever? Shri?
Yeah, because it's a culture of satsang. As we intensify or reinstating that experience, reliving that experience again and again and again, that we get used to it. Why suddenly we have a spark of a very wonderful experience, and then our unwanted association or affinity with the worldly association is very overwhelming still. So we temporarily become very enlightened and feeling amazing, very emotional, enchanting or devotional atmosphere. We should crave that it continues. That's why asat sanga chhadi. How much bad association we have to let go? You know, long way to go. So we cannot, from that, we cannot say that we have enough satsang. Contemplate like that. Natali is smiling. Don't be discouraged, okay? We have come this far. There is no looking back. That should be most encouraging. And we are in association of those who will not leave us alone. We cannot run away. We cannot now go into isolation. We are well protected. So much arrangement has been made by Krishna's mercy to cause our protection through satsang, We can pray to crave for more satsang and never feel saturated that we got enough. Because if Kirtaniya Sadahari is our standard, how can we not progress more? Because that is the ultimate achievement of our consciousness. Then, without or unbeknown to us, subconsciously, we will be only Krishna conscious or conscious of Srimati Radharani. So that state, the distraction, there is a possibility, lot of possibility of distractions for us at our stage, So we sort out the distractions, and lot to go. So we don't we don't become stagnant. We don't become saturated that we got enough. Same concept. Ye dil mange more. It has to continue. All right?
Yes, Sri Guru.
Since we are not alone, we will be pushed or pulled. And we should be ready. Because sometimes we need the pull and sometimes we need a push. All right?
Ji, Sri Guru. Like one small question also in this. Like, lucky me to have so much of association, the Jatiya Sangh and Guru Kripa, everything, Sri Guru. But sometimes worldly matters enter into our mind so much that we are not ready to let go them off. Then
Hmm.
how to come out of that situation, Sri?
Continue with more intensely chanting and other engagement, devotional service. And what we are not able to leave, the time will force them to be left out. We cannot hold on to anything for very long or eternally in this world anyway. However deeply attached or engrossed or infatuated one may be in this material world. It's just matter of time. This understanding should be very, very much alive in our understanding, and just we will see that things move, and this is the mercy of Krishna, that we cannot hold on to any material priority for long. With the change of time, our priorities also change. What we prioritize when we were 15 and what we prioritize when we were at 25, 35, 45, the passion and the focus, everything changes, correct? So we have been experiencing the change in our focus, but we can incessantly keep the focus of Radharani's lotus feet, which we have distributed to all the sadhakas in Vrindavan, correct?
Ji Shri. Koti koti dhanyavad. Hare
So
Krishna.
something which is constant, we have to be very clear about what are the constants in our life, in our consciousness, and what are the non-constants. So we don't have to force to make those who are non-constants to make constant. They will make their move in due course of time. You just hang on to Krishna's pure name, and that will make all the arrangements. What we are not capable to change through our means and even our intelligence because of our conditioning. But we have to continue this process of chanting in Sankirtan. Then amazing, inconceivable changes do come in our lives, and we can perceive Krishna's direct kripa through them. So just stay tuned in and just wait for the more opportune moment to feel greater mercy of Krishna. Don't let the feeling of mercy become saturated. May our hankering for more mercy continue. All right?
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
So, Caitanya Sarari, is everything whatever you asked last time?
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru. Yes, Shri Guru. Amazing, amazing. I'm speechless, Shri Guru. The way you answer all our queries, and not just what we ask, but everything which is in our heart. It is amazing. Thank you so much, Shri Guru. And as Anand Vigra says, Anupama Manjari says, thank you is never ever sufficient. Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Okay. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All right then.
Krishna Shiva, it is never all right. And
Anyone else wants to say something? Or it's like reinstating our appreciation and little understanding. It's a culture of, reinstating our appreciation for the holy name and the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And in the process, whosoever can join, everyone is most welcome. So it is not limited to just who is apparently speaking. We are all listeners, aren't we? As we read, we listen, we speak, we also listen, correct? So, we are all recipients of the unlimited mercy of Mahaprabhu and the pure devotees. So we are all beggars of more mercy. So that way, we can appreciate the Sangha or the mutual association because we are hankering for something which is unlimited. So we can all be very sure that we will get our full quota. Nothing to worry. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. We'll see you in 1 hour then.
Yes, Shri Guru. Amazing satsang, Shri Guru. Very speechless, and you bring out the rasa and tattva both so succinctly. You capture. It's amazing, Shri Guru, and so much attractive it is. And pray that I've become a lobi somewhat, and then continue to be becoming ever and ever and ever lobi, Shri Guru, of your satsang, of your darshan, of your sang, sanidhya, seva, kripa, everything, Shri Guru.
Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari 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 Bol.
From the core of our hearts, we chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the pure pleasure of our Shri Guru. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. परम पूज्य भक्ति स्वरूप गोविंद महाराज की जय।
जय जय
जय गुरुदेव,
Nitai
जय
Gaur
जय गुरुदेव।
Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
प्रणाम श्री गुरु हरे
Shri
कृष्णा।
Guru Pranam. Hare
Hare
Krishna, Shri Guru Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sri Swaminimati Astu. Welcome.
प्रणाम श्री
प्रणाम श्री गुरु।
Hare Krishna, Sri Swaminimati Astu. Nitai
प्रणाम श्री गुरु हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, welcome. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
हरे कृष्ण श्री गुरु प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna, Sri Swaminimati Astu.
हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम गुरुदेव।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari 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 Bol.